Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Got a lot of basketball on tonight. Got some college football on tonight as well. And then a loaded football weekend coming up, too. So we got a loaded 72 hours in terms of betting. Went 1-2 last night. Freaking, man, that Ravens-Bengals under looked great at the start of the fourth quarter. An avalanche of points at the end of the game, man. And I knew it was done when the receiver on the Ravens, Wallace, when he broke the tackles on the sideline and took it 86 yards. Because football's well, actually all sports are like this, but football's a momentum sport, and it was a slow, grinded out game. And that big play just unleashed, like, all right, we're taking shots now. And it's turned into just explosive play after explosive play. Ended up not even being close. Awesome game, though.
Very good game.
Yeah,
I had a good play on that game. I had Burrow over pass attempts.
Oh well,
that's every week, Skee, versus whoever Baltimore plays, and you take the opposing running back under. Like, I've been doing that for like 6 weeks because they got the number 3 rush defense in the league. So you just I've been me and Mino be giving that out on the podcast all the time.
I don't know what's going on with the Ravens secondary. I mean, they got talent. They can't stop the pass. I thought
Cal, we talked about this. We talked about it. Remember, it's like no pass. It's no rush from like the front seven. Like,
yeah, I mean that's got to be part of it. But whatever. We're here to talk about basketball. Basketball first, at least. Pelicans Magic is first. I bet this game, but the line I got is gone. I got Orlando at 4.5 last night. If you could still get it at 5.5, I'm good. But once it crosses over 6, it's probably be more towards a pass. I mean, at 6.5, my pick is still Orlando. I wouldn't say take New Orleans now. 6 is a key number in the NBA, and Orlando's struggles offensively are a little concerning here. I think Orlando can get back now that they're home. I know they're just getting back from a road trip, which isn't ideal, but back home where they're much better and they can get back to what they like to do. Attack the rim, get to the free throw line. Yes, even without Banchero. And I know the Pelicans have been hitting their outside shots. In my opinion, I don't think that's sustainable. And going into Orlando to try to score points down low, even if Zion does play, I think at 4.5, it's a good bet. I'm on the Magic here. Now that it's at 6.5, though, it would be a pass.
Man, you're brave, Kyle. I want nothing to do with laying with the Magic without Paolo. I just don't think that the offense is good enough to create separation. The defense is still solid, so maybe that's how they can do it. So if you like the Magic, I would say you like Pelicans team total under. That's probably the way that I play this game because I don't trust the Pelicans to play defense on their side. They're the second worst defensive rated team so far. I don't really trust the Pelicans to do anything, honestly. So Pelicans team total under would be a lean for me for this game.
Pelicans team total under, yeah, I can get with that. Probably be 105, probably be like 103.5, something like that. That's an estimate. I'm putting this on the screen. It's an estimation.
You got it.
That is 103? All right. I nailed it. Chris?
Nothing. Like, we don't even know if Zion's playing, right? Did he go through shoot around? I'm like, I couldn't even find out that information. It's like I kind of, when I looked at it initially, I was with you. I was like, I really want the 4.5, but I also want Zion to be out. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get it the way that I wanted it. So, I actually think that Orlando could potentially score in this spot, though. So I guess that'd be the pivot for me. Instead of taking the Pelicans team total under. They have been playing with a little bit more pace, and to give Orlando, I guess, a little bit of credit, those thinkers that they put up when they couldn't score last week or earlier this week were against some of the better defensive teams. It was Dallas in Dallas, then it was OKC in OKC. They did get to 112 against the Pacers. Pelicans defense has been, Skee said he didn't trust them to do anything, not defend either. They're 6-2-1 to the over this season. 7 of their 9 opponents have actually scored 111 points or better, and 4 straight have actually gone up and over the number. I know it's ugly to think Orlando in points, but I kind of feel like they'll be able to score, and they may play with a little bit more tempo. I didn't bet it. That'd be the only way that I'm looking at this game.
Someone said we're the Oklahoma City Thunder. Skee is shy, Kyle is Chet, and Chris is Jalen Williams.
Oh my god.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm producing the show today, so bear with me with the polls. Let's move
It's
on.
like old times.
Yeah, right. A throwback. Prop Fever comes in on Saturday and Sunday during football season, so I gotta let him rest at some point. Can't be working him 150 hours a week. Hornets plus 6.5. I think I'm the only person who thinks this. I know. Actually, I shouldn't say I know that you guys in particular. I know that the betting community likes this Hornets team. I think they're trash, and especially without Nick Richards, I think they're one of the worst teams in the NBA, and I don't really understand what people like about them. I mean, they're 25th defensively. They're 25th offensively. They look competitive for a few games because they were rebounding the ball really well. They dominated the rebounding. They dominated the rebounding battle in their first 3 games, but then Nick Richards got hurt. They haven't won a rebounding battle since. Other than LaMelo Ball being extremely talented, offensively, I don't really think there's anything I like about this Hornets team. I didn't bet the Pacers because laying it on the road, I don't even think the Pacers look all that good. But that would be the only way I'd go here is Indiana minus 6.5. Are you guys part of the we're believing in the Hornets? Is that you guys?
No, I agree with what you said. I don't think they're good, but they got a new coach, and the coach was preaching defense. It looked good for the preseason and for 2 games, and it's right back to the same Hornets. So, no, I'm not a believer. What you said about Nick Richards, I know you mentioned it last time with the rebounding for them. The Pacers, not a very good rebounding team, so I don't know how much they take advantage. What I was looking at in this game, for one, I would want TJ McConnell in because he brings the pace off the bench or continues the pace off the bench. I was looking at the over or first half over, and for the same reasons that I've been looking at it. After the first 3 games into the season, Pacers were not looking good because they were not playing their brand of basketball. You listen to the coach and the players talk, and they said that they'll get back to playing fast and playing Pacers basketball, and that's exactly what they've shown us since. For them to be able to push that Magic team minus Paolo over the total, I think it's just a sign that it's almost team proof to play it. But like I said, I want McConnell in there to continue to push the pace second half. So I'm looking at the over full game or first half over 117. Either one of those. If I can get McConnell, I'm pushing a button.
So first half over 117 or the total, the full game total at 236, depending on McConnell. Yeah, I'd like to see McConnell in there if I was laying the points here too. Oh, by the way, Ronald's in the comments. He said Pelicans 4-0 to their team total under on the road. About your Pelicans team total.
Nice.
Under. Chris?
It is nice. Question for Skee. Skee, you like this over if McConnell plays even with Charlotte to contribute?
Well, I mean, they just played the Magic with Paolo, and they pushed the Magic and went over. So yes.
I mean, Charlotte can also contribute by not playing defense.
That I can get behind, Kyle. Which makes me kind of think, if Skee said if McConnell plays, it's probably up and over, at least for the Pacers side. I just kind of feel like, to your point, Kyle, the Nick Richards thing, I know we keep beating it like a drum, but it's big because that's what they do. If they're down him, they don't have Mark Williams. You got Grant Williams out there playing center. That's just going to lead to more tempo. And you take a look at what the Pacers have been doing recently. What do they want to score? At the rim. They're 10th in frequency, 4th in rim accuracy over the last 5 games, which is what Skee's talking about with them wanting to get out and play a little bit more. And you got a defensive team for Charlotte that's not allowing teams to get in the paint. They're second to last in opponent rim frequency, and they're not defending the rim. Teams are shooting 71% at the rim. So I feel like Indiana should be able to score, but I would want TJ McConnell in as well. The total moving up, I don't know how much Charlotte scores though. Charlotte offense is not impressive, and I don't know if you guys, we didn't mention this, but Miles Bridges is out. That's 20 points right there. So that's a little bit scary as well to take the over. It's too many moving parts in this game. I stayed off of it, but I will say this: I did play. Hold on, one more second, Skee. I did play.
This graphic is you, right?
Yeah, I was about to say I played Holly over his assist. This morning it was minus 105, over 8.5. He's over in 4 of his last 5 games with 10 or more. So I loved it. That is 8.5. In the head-to-head matchup last season, he had 12 or more in 3 to 4 games. And as I just kind of talked about, Indy loves to attack the rim. Charlotte, not a lot of rim protection without Mark Williams and without Nick Richards. So I think it's going to be a ton of points scored in the paint tonight by, everybody that's not named Neesmith because he's not going to be playing. But everybody else will be able to score off Halliburton assists. So I did play Mr. Halley up and over 8.5 assists.
Ronald in the comments said he was leaning under in this game.
I was just going to say, we saw a Magic team that was not even reaching 90 points in the previous couple games. Play this Pacers team and put up 111 easily without Paolo. I wouldn't worry too much.
Next up, if the Hawks didn't have a game tomorrow, I'd be hitting the Hawks here, and I don't know one's going to like that. I mean, I get it. What I liked about this Pistons team, I bet the Pistons against the Hornets the other night. I barely covered that. What I liked about him was we're going back to rebounding again. But with no Duren, who leads the team in rebounds, I'm not sure what part of the Pistons team I really even like. I mean, the Hawks have struggled defensively, but do you really trust Detroit in terms of shot making to take? I mean, I'm sure they'll score points because the Hawks are that bad defensively, but I don't trust them to make enough shots to keep up because the Hawks are going to score. Not having Duren is just huge for me here. And I wanted to bet the Hawks. I didn't because they have, I think it's the Bulls tomorrow. They have another game tomorrow. I believe a travel as well.
It's the Bulls. Yeah.
It is the Bulls. Yeah. So
and it's back at home.
Yeah. So with the travel, if they didn't have the Bulls tomorrow, I'd be hitting the Hawks here. I know everyone's probably going to be taking Detroit, and I get it. Atlanta's bad, 2-7 against the number, looking like last year all over again. I wanted to do this. I didn't pull the trigger on it though.
I don't think I could back aside in this game. I did like Atlanta in that last one versus New York, but all I'll say is what do I like for Detroit? I like Cade. I like Ivy. And I think that Atlanta plays absolutely zero defense. So there's always potential for the Pistons to put up points versus this team or anybody. I think they're allowing 122 points per game. So I think rather than that, and your minus Duren, maybe less paint protection. Maybe just look towards the over. But it's not a game I'll be playing.
Chris?
Yeah, I agree with that over by Skee. And this was one that I narrowed it down pretty quickly. I'm not laying points with Atlanta on the road, even though they are the other big brother to the Detroit Pistons. So the one big brother is the Knicks. The other big brother is the Hawks. They've beaten this team, I think, 8 straight times, 7-2-1 to the over in the last 10. What that tells me is that Atlanta doesn't really care about playing defense when they play against Detroit because they know that they're going to outscore them. So I think that does say over. Without Duren, I think there's like a 4-point differential in the points that Detroit is allowing so far this season as well. So yeah, I would go over here. I did play Trey Young. Trey Young. I played his double-double. Minus 135 was the number. Trey has doubled 7 of his last 9 games so far. He's only missed 2. The 2 misses actually came against probably the 2 better defensive teams in the league, OKC and Boston, when he was on the second leg of a back-to-back and got hurt in that game. You just look back at his recent game logs against this team specifically. I look no further than last season where he had 31 points and 15 assists. So, Atlanta's still down a lot of players. I expect Trey to have the ball in his hands and beat up, try to do his part to beat up on little brother today. So I did play him, play his double-double in this spot. And the golden ticket is Clint Capella. I didn't really, under his 8.5 rebounds, I didn't really like it as much because Duren isn't there to be on the glass, but so I wasn't going to play it. I've cashed on this like 3 straight games, and they just keep setting the number at 8.5 for his rebounds. He continues to get 5, 4, and a lot of it is his minutes. Like he's been like not getting as many minutes. Jalen Johnson is by far the better rebounder on the team. I think he's the only person on the team averaging double-digit rebounds. But the thing that pushed me to play it anyway was that Detroit, I know a lot of it has to do with Jalen Duren, but they're like the second best rebounding team in the league. So last game we cashed against the Knicks. This game, they were the first best rebounding team, and now you got Detroit on the opposite side. So I still think they can keep him off the glass. Also, the minutes just haven't been there. He's under in 7 of the 9 games so far this season, 3 straight, 5 of his last 6. And he did play 28 minutes against the Knicks, but if you go back before that game, the minutes just haven't been there. So they're not playing him that much, which is weird, but I'll keep cashing on the under.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Good game coming up next. Phoenix Dallas, and I can't. I bet them. I bet the bum ass Suns. I took the money line. I took the money line last night at plus 138. The injuries to Dallas right now. I'm not saying the Suns are the better team than the Mavericks are as a whole, but right now with the injuries, based on what we've seen, you'd have to say the Suns are the better team right now, or at least they look to be. And let me get the poll up. I'm sorry. There you go. Poll is up. All right. So, yeah, I'm on the Suns. I took the money line at plus 138. Sorry, 1 sec. Let's see if I have a graphic for it. You guys on the Suns too? Or am I alone here?
Go ahead, Skee.
I'll just say this. This is how I felt about the game. It stood out. The first thing that stood out to me is the Suns have won how many games in a row? And now they're an underdog. And on top of that, they're an underdog when the Mavs are missing Lively and PJ Washington. Like that just, and the Suns have a better record than the Mavericks. So this is one of those games where I'm trying to put my smart guy glasses on and say, the Mavs are favored for a reason. But it's tough. I could see KD really doing whatever he wants. It's really a tough game for me. I'm sorry, I don't have a play, but I was trying my hardest to get there with the Mavericks. I had a system that says pretty much what I explained, that the Mavericks are favored for a reason, but I just didn't feel comfortable pushing the button.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a matchup, it's not a mismatch either way. There's a couple things here. I mean, Dallas has been forcing a lot of turnovers, but Suns aren't a team that turns the ball over much. Dallas, they're good at limiting fast break opportunities. Phoenix doesn't even run many fast breaks. There's just a couple of things where I think matches up favorably for the Suns, but as a whole, I'm riding the hot hand here. Yeah, they haven't been covering the number as favorites, but as dogs, I'm down to take a shot. I took the money line, so I'm in. I'm in on the Suns, team that always seems to rob my bank account. Chris?
Yeah, I kind of feel like you, Kyle. But then I feel like Skee, when you talk about, like, the books knew that Lively wasn't going to play. They knew PJ Washington was out. Why put Dallas as a favorite? But to your point, Kyle, you said they haven't been covering the number. I think they were 2-6 against the number. What they have been doing is winning games. They're 7-1. And, I do kind of feel like they are the right side in the game. Did I bet it? No. I'm kind of wanting to put my smart guy glasses on too, Skee. Sometimes my smart guy glasses tell me just to sit it out and chill. So I think I'm a just wait a white flag and watch this one. You do got revenge with Dallas, but I'm with you, Kyle. I just feel like they got enough talent, and I think the impact of PJ Washington, Derek Lively being out is enough to put me on Phoenix in this game as well.
All right, so you're leaning towards the Suns as well. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is... Hold
on, real quick. Total in this game. Did you guys even consider the under at 2?
I wanted to. That's where I was looking, was under, but there was also a couple of things I looked at that pointed towards an over. So I was no.
Okay. Skee,
I think that even though it hurts the defense, I think no Lively, no Washington, it does also take away lob threats and it hurts the offense. So I know last Dallas game I played their team total under. It cashed. If I'm playing this one, I would think it's a more defensive game too.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that's what I'm playing. Thanks. I love the analysis by you guys. That's what I'm playing.
Yeah, I mean, I considered that under too. What about this next one? I kind of feel like, Brooklyn again off to a red hot start against the number, just like last year. I believe they were the best team in the NBA a month and a half in the season against the number. So it looks like some of the same here, 6-2. So how do you lay 13 points to a team like that would be my first question. But also, I feel like a little bit unfortunate for the Nets to be in this spot. Boston may be looking to beat the hell out of somebody and take some frustration out after the loss to Golden State in front of their home fans. So I can see a solid logical argument for both sides. I mean, personally, I wouldn't lay the 13, but I have no interest in betting this game. I'll just put Nets up for me, but I'm not betting this.
I'm in agreement with you. The Nets are well rested as well. Celtics still shorthanded. Yes, they're probably pissed off the loss, but Nets, I feel like they've been pretty scrappy. Yeah, they've covered 6 out of 8 games, and I would pump the brakes. Celtics first quarter, whatever, was a moneymaker last year. I know it's 5-4 so far this year, but Nets, a strong 8-0 ATS in the first half. So I'll lean.
Wait,
I'll put
wait, you say 8-0?
8-0.
Holy
So I'll lean
shit.
Nets first half.
I didn't know that. They haven't lost a single first half spread?
Nope.
Damn, why are we not betting that? Like, why am I just hearing about this now? First half is +8. You get an 8.5, it looks like. Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's been offensive. It's been offensively too. Like they're averaging 29 points in the first quarter and 28 in the second quarter. So they're right about 58 points in the first half. And then in the third quarter they give up 31 points, and they're only scoring 53 in the second half combined. So I kind of lean the same way. I'm not betting. I really wanted to get there with Boston first quarter. I kind of just feel like if we play Boston first quarter team total over 30.5, we're gonna make a lot more money than we're gonna lose. But to Skee's point, like that's the best defensive quarter for the Brooklyn Nets. So I stayed off of this one too. I didn't play this game at all.
Yeah, 8-0 first half is crazy. I did not know that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Milwaukee, New York. I kind of thought last night when I looked at it, kind of similar, Skee, to what you were saying about the Suns Mavericks game. Like, this line is here for a reason. And last night it was at 7.5, and I was like, man, they feel really strong with their position here on the Knicks. Because I mean, if you asked me to handicap the game, I probably would have put it at about 3.5. So clearly they're taking a position on the Knicks. That being said, they did move it down. It's now down to 6.5. I honestly have no idea. I want to say over, but as far as the Knicks pace, it's hot and cold. Sometimes they play the slowest pace defensive basketball, and then other times their opponent starts running, and the Knicks are like, yeah, let's run. It's so hard to get a feel for this team. I feel like the Knicks, they're my favorite team. I feel like betting-wise, they're a team that I have no feel for right now. I think I've only placed 2 bets on Knicks games this whole year, so I haven't really been touching the Knicks games. I kind of want to lay the 6.5, if I'm being honest. I feel like everyone's taking the Bucks side. Knicks home from the road trip where they struggled. I feel like we could see a strong performance from the Knicks, so I'll put Knicks up for me. That's what I want to take, but I'm not betting it.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me. You mentioned the Knicks' first game back home from the long road trip, and Knicks, like you said, have been playing very inconsistent. You know me, Kyle. I have a problem, or I have trouble laying points with teams that don't play a whole lot of defense, and Knicks are a bottom 10 defensive rated team. So that gets me away from looking at the Knicks side. For the Bucks, I don't know that we've seen them as this big of a dog. So, I mean, what you said is true. Maybe the line is big for a reason. But if I have to pick laying with a team that plays no defense or taking the points with the other team, I would lean towards taking the points with the Bucks. I think the Bucks can have success in the paint. The Knicks are 29th as far as paint field goal percentage allowed. And I would be wanting Giannis to be in. I know he was on the injury report earlier, but I think it could be too many points in this game. If it is the Knicks game, though, I'll say they're playing at, really slow pace, slowest pace in the league. Probably isn't under, even with the lack of defense, just because of the pace. If you like the Knicks, yeah. But for me, you can put up the Bucks for me.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm with Skee. It'll be Bucks for me too, but I didn't bet it. I agree with you, Kyle, what you said about the strong position. Like, I was like, damn, like I was trying to get ahead and like grab me some Knicks too, especially with them coming off back-to-back losses to Houston and Atlanta. And they took my money in that spot too, because I bet the Knicks twice. I bet their team total over, and I bet them. I had bet them early minus the 8 before Trae Young got rolled in, thinking that he was going to be rolled out and the line was going to close at like 10, and they lose the game outright. I got like a little bit of beef with Jalen Brunson right now because he missed a free throw that could have got me up and over the team total at 116.5. So yeah, I'm off a Knicks game specifically, and that's why I didn't bet this one. But I don't think the Bucks turned it around. I think the Bucks. I did tell you guys that putting Jackson Jr. in the lineup yesterday was going to be helpful defensively, and they did hold the Jazz well under their team total. But I mean, that was the Jazz. So yeah, I still don't have a good gauge for the Bucks either. I don't think that they're good either. So guess I lean a little bit more under. But they play with so much pace and shoot so many threes, and like you said, Skee, their defense. The Knicks defense hasn't been super great from the 3-point line, so that just kept me off of the game in totality. But if I had to make one play, it would be Bucks plus the 7, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, look at our poll. We're polling 62% Bucks, 25% Knicks. So it's kind of what I suspected. I would imagine everyone's taking the Bucks at this number. Not that that would scare me off or anything. It's just I find the number a little weird. That's all I'm saying.
Last time, Cal, it was last time Knicks was in a in a spot. I guess they were being criticized like this. It was after they lost to the Celtics on opening night, and they had the Pacers, and everybody liked the Pacers. And the Pacers lost by 25.
Yeah, I think I like the Pacers in that one too. But all right, let's move on to the next
one thing for you, Kyle. You might like. I know you always mention above the break 3-point percentage. That could be where the Knicks have success. They're number 2. Bucks are 28th as far as above the break 3-point percentage allowed.
That was the Bucks. That's what they were terrible at that last year too. Teams always had 3-point parties on the Bucks last year as well. So maybe the Knicks hit a bunch of threes. Next up, I mean, based on the early part of the season, this is the game of the night. I didn't think we'd be saying Warriors-Cavs is the game of the night, but based on what we've seen, I mean, these have been 2 of the most impressive teams in the league so far. And I have mixed feelings. It's how do you not – okay, so on one side, how do you not take Cleveland as a short home favorite here? They've been bulldozing everyone at home. I mean, I know the Bucks covered in that one game. But how do you not take the Cleveland at home at a short number like 4? And then the other side, how do you not bet the Warriors catching points on the road? I think they're perfect against the spread on the road. I actually think they might be undefeated on the road this year. So, I mean, how do you fade either of those spots? I'm going to throw something out there. If you guys agree, I'll bet it. What I was thinking, this is like the game of the night, biggest, huge game for both these teams, making a statement here, maybe a little bit playoff-y. Under playoff type defense. I'm throwing something at the wall, seeing if it sticks right now. I don't have a bet on the game.
Yeah, I'm not really on the total or looking at the total, but I'll answer your first question. I mean, reasons why you might not like the Warriors. They're travel fatigue. They've been traveling at least 4+ games, coming off of a big win as an underdog. Could be a letdown spot for the Warriors. Maybe why not to take the Cavs? They are on the first of a back-to-back. In my personal opinion, the Warriors are a better team. They're also the deeper team, and they could take advantage of Cavaliers in a few different spots. So right here, I'll look at the Cavs. They're 27th as far as above the break 3 field goal percentage allowed. We know the Warriors like to bomb it up from 3. They're number 6 above the break 3-point field goal percentage. And even the corner 3, Cavaliers suck at defending it. And we know the Warriors can eat there. So if you're not defending the 3 versus the Warriors, you're in for a long night. Warriors also have been a better defensive rated team than them so far this season. I would be wanting to grab the points with the Warriors if I'm playing this game.
All right, I'll put the Warriors out. Golden State plus the 4. Oh, graphics says 4.5. So I guess when he made the graphics, it was at 4.5. Chris, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I like Golden State in this spot. I didn't bet it. The travel fatigue, but also they got OKC coming up next. And Draymond, you guys didn't mention injury report, but Draymond was listed as questionable. He banged his knee. I didn't even see it, but he banged his knee with somebody from the Boston game. I'm pretty sure he's gonna play, but if he's ruled out, you get a much better number with Golden State. Or maybe Golden State just doesn't care about this game because it's non-conference. Like I kind of feel like when you beat Boston, like you send your message to the league. It doesn't matter if you lose to Cleveland. Like Cleveland still has to prove themselves when it really matters, in my opinion. But for what Skee was saying, and a lot of that I had written in my notes as well, is that Cleveland, Golden State has some really key advantages and you were saying this as well, Kyle, but Cleveland's second best offense, Golden State second best defense. Cleveland first best effective field goal percentage, Golden State second best opponent effective field goal percentage. I'm just like copy and pasting my notes the other day from like the game with Boston. Like Golden State stops everything that Cleveland likes to do. Cleveland is playing this new offense because Kenny Atkinson, of course, is the coach. Kenny Atkinson, for people who don't know, was the assistant coach to Steve Kerr. He's come over, implemented a lot of the same stuff that Steve Kerr does. They're shooting a lot more threes. They're playing with a lot more pace now. So he would have, the keys to how Steve Kerr would think about slowing down and being able to score against this Cleveland team because it's pretty similar. But so the two biggest factors in my opinion here is the Dean Wade injury and the Draymond injury. Dean Wade is significant in my opinion because, as Skee mentioned, the Cleveland defense has not been impressive to me. And if you look at the strength of schedule between the two, both of them have been playing against cupcakes. But the win against Boston the other day, to me, solidified Golden State. You mentioned it, Kyle. 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread on the road. I'm not fading them because I tried to against Houston the other day, and they were up by 30 at halftime. So, yeah, I know it's a travel to the league spot, but it's only Golden State, and I didn't bet them because I just want to see what happens with Draymond and Dean Wade in this spot before I get involved, if I even get there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I wish I was catching like +2 as a home dog here with Cleveland. Maybe I do it, but I don't know how. I mean, you would think, because someone just said it in the comments, and I think that's what a lot of people might be thinking. How can Golden State handle Jared Allen and Evan Mobley down low? Well, actually, Golden State's been rebounding the ball better than Cleveland has. I don't know. I guess I'll put up Golden State, but I honestly think, like I said earlier, if I was to place a bet on this game, I think I would take under 231. We see a great defensive effort on both sides, but damn, I wish I had something.
Not only that though, Kyle, but Golden State's like they're number 4 in opponent rim frequency. They're not even allowing teams to shoot at the rim, and then when they are, they're second in rim accuracy. Like if you tried to watch the big men from Boston the other day score in the paint, like Draymond was pulling the chair, Steph was playing defense, like they come over and help. Like it's different right now. They're just swarming people defensively, and I don't think that Cleveland has seen a defense like Golden State quite yet.
Yes, I mean, but what you just said makes me second guess the under now. Let's move on to the next one. But because it's like, all right, you're going to force Cleveland to shoot a bunch of threes. If Dean Wade's playing, okay, they might put up 130. Houston, Oklahoma City. Speaking of totals,
you played under here?
No, I wanted to. I couldn't because these teams, it's crazy. These teams are, I mean, the Rockets playing super slow pace this year, almost the exact opposite of what we saw from the Rockets down the stretch last year. And part of me is scared to jump in on that. I just took a loss taking the under in the Rockets-Spurs game when there were no points scored in the first half and they just went ballistic in the second half. Part of me thinks that it's only a matter of time before we start seeing the Rockets run the floor again because that's what was working for them last year. They were, if you remember, they were beating teams when they went on that run, almost got into the playoff hunt there. They were beating teams 138, 125. Like those games were crazy down the stretch from the Rockets, and that's just not what we've seen from them. They've been running a slow pace. So based on what we've seen, Rockets, Oklahoma City, arguably the best defense in the NBA. Rockets running a slow pace, struggling to score. I mean, that would lead you to an under. I'm just scared because we know both of these teams are capable of running. We've seen it. So, I mean, if I take an under here, put the game on, and it's 38-35 at the end of the first quarter, I'm going to be like, I'm an asshole. I knew this was going to happen. So I don't know. I got nothing. Under or pass, I guess?
Well, I'll try to continue to make a case for that. You know, OKC does play fast, even as fast as they play. Let's see, the under is 5-3, 6-2 in the first half. But just looking at both of these teams, top 5 defensive rated teams so far this season. You look at, even though OKC likes to play fast, Houston is number 1 as far as fast break points allowed. So get back on D. And both teams top 5 defending the paint. So it shouldn't be easy baskets. Shouldn't be a whole lot of easy fast break. Or, you know, I don't see easy baskets and I see good defense. So I want to try to get there with under 2. I didn't yet just because OKC pace does scare me a little bit. But under or pass.
I'll put it up for me too, because I was feeling the exact same way.
Same for me too, guy. The other thing I'll add to that, Skee, because I think that was good, solid breakdown from you as well, Kyle. The Rockets, like if you're thinking about them at home, which they've been at, it feels like they've been at home for.
Chris, did it? Skee, can you hear him?
No, I can't hear Chris.
Yes, Chris, your audio just cut out about 5 seconds ago. In the middle of your sentence. It just happened. It's quiet as hell. Give me another test. Nope, it's gone. All right, well, he's got the under. Let's move on to the next game while he gets his mic working. All right. So we all lean towards the under. Maybe I take that. I don't know. Washington, Memphis. I mean, look, I get that the Wizards are bad. And Skee, if you co-sign this, I'm down to jump on it. I get that the Wizards are bad, but the current Memphis Grizzlies that we're going to see on the court have no business laying 7.5 points. Am I right? You don't want to do it.
I don't know. I hear Chris whispering in my ear.
Yeah,
right
Chris
here.
is quiet as hell. Hold on.
You guys can't hear me?
It's very quiet. Yeah, we can hear you, but it's extremely quiet.
I don't know how to turn my volume up, Kyle. Can I yell? Like, is that better?
It's actually
It's getting better.
It sounds like your mic. It sounds like your mic is auto adjusting, so it seems like you're good. Talk now.
All right, Wizards plus the points.
All right, Wizards plus the points. Wizards.
Wizards plus the points, y'all. All right, so before Memphis beat the Lakers the other day, I said this on the show, Kyle. I said Memphis does not like the Lakers. They're going to try to kill us because we beat them a couple years in the playoffs. And that's what they did. They came out, scored 130 points. Then they rule out Ja Morant. For what reason? Like, he's fine. So now you have so much less rim protection. Like, you have your whole offense changes. You don't play fast anymore, as fast. You don't get to the rim anymore, and you're not a good three-point shooting team. So how's that offense going to be created? I know Scottie Pippen Jr. is a pretty good backup point guard from his days in LA, but I know the Wizards stink. But I'm not laying 7.5 points with this Memphis team without Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart. So I did play Washington plus the points here, plus 7.5.
Someone said crispy whispering. I'm down. I'll take the Wizards with you.
I'll say I
put the belt up
agree.
on Memphis, Skee.
No, I'm not doing that. No, negative. We could talk about a game later, but negative for this one. The Wizards, I'll say this. The Wizards, I'm just looking at stats, okay? First half, Wizards are 0-6 ATS, 6-0 to the under for their team total in the first half. The Grizzlies are 7-2 ATS in the first half and 7-2 to their team total over in the first half. So we got one team that's extremely fast starters and the other one who can't get out the gate. I think Scottie Pippen is good. He's been playing damn good all year. Even if they don't play as fast, he's doing what he needs to do for the offense. I want nothing to do with the Wizards team, especially minus Kyle Kuzma. So it'll be Grizzlies first half if I get involved in this game.
So Memphis first half or pass. I'll put. All right, 0-7 in the first half or whatever you just said. Definitely isn't exactly what I wanted to hear, but maybe tonight. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is Miami-Denver. This is another one. I have my finger on the trigger here. I think the Heat win outright. Is everyone with that? All right, cool. Let's do it. I'm really gonna bet this one too. So let me make sure I write this down because I don't forget. Actually, even though it saved yesterday, I was like, I'm betting Portland. I forgot to bet it. It saved me a bet. But I actually forgot last
Boy,
night.
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I lost on that. That kind of irritated me.
Yeah, I mean, there was a close game up until about midway through the third quarter, and then just. I also bet the under in this game, by the way. So I have that down as well. So I'll put both graphics up. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, basically, the way I feel about this game is I'm not going to let one great Denver Nuggets second half distract me from what we've seen from this team all year. And with no Aaron Gordon on the floor, I think Jamal Murray might play, which is obviously a huge plus. I get that Miami, we've seen a couple of poor defensive performances from them recently, but we know this team is going to come in, play elite defense. The reason I bet the under is Denver likes to play half-court basketball, and I expect the Heat to be down to play that because they play great half-court defense. So I like the under, and I'm also going to place another bet on the Heat. My first NBA game all year where I have two bets on is the Heat Nuggets. So you guys said you're in agreement. You like the Heat too?
I am. Jamal Murray, I mean, he could come back, but I mean, it's not even the same Jamal Murray. They actually been winning when Westbrook starts.
3-0.
Crazy as that is to say. Yeah, I
3-0,
know. Makes me want to almost throw up, but no, in all seriousness, I can't get with the Nuggets. Their bench is not good. I think that's why they can't hold leads. They can't Like I'm just not a fan of what I'm seeing from this Nuggets team. The Heat, I feel like, have been really good out the gate. To put numbers to that, let me just actually pull this up. They're 6-1 ATS in the first half. Meanwhile, the Nuggets have been slow starters, right? 1-7 ATS in the first half, having to climb back and barely win every game. You look at their last couple games, I mean, they only won by like a bucket, right? In the Heat, their problem has been maintaining their starts. The third quarter, they just kind of die out. But they've been talking about it. They talked about it before the last game. They played a little bit better last game. They were able to cover that number. I think this is one where you get a full 48 minutes of good Heat basketball. And another thing, you talked about the Heat half-court defense. I mean, if Murray's ruled out or whatever, if you get whatever lineup out there with Bron, Watson, Westbrook, I mean, the Heat are not scared to play zone. And Westbrook does not want to see any zone. So I like the Heat first half. I like the Heat full game.
Those games are always hilarious when the guy doesn't close out on Westbrook on the perimeter, and it's just like, oh, it's like, oh, feel sorry for my guy Russ out there. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. You're a guard, man. That's a bad look. Chris.
Oh man, Skee pulled out the old Trump card. That was that was a big joker. The zone defense against Westbrook.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Oh man,
Chris, you're with us. You said, right?
Yeah. It's Miami in this spot. I like. I think something to keep in mind. Like something I'm gonna try to track is like, teams who win as a dog, like, and then stay in that same spot. So whether like they played on the road in the game that they won as a dog, and then they're still on the road, or they win as a dog, it's a letdown spot. And sometimes we see that letdown early. So I do think I agree with Skee on first half, maybe potentially making the most sense because Miami in the third quarter hasn't been great. But Skee mentioned the Heat being 6-1 against the spread in the first half. They're 6-1 straight up in the first half. Like they've been winning in the first half, and then they just, like I said, kind of run out of gas. But with Denver being 1-7 against the spread in the first half, that makes me like it a lot more. Miami protects the rim really well. They're third in opponent rim frequency, eighth in opponent rim accuracy. And that's what Denver wants to do because they do struggle to shoot the ball if they're not hot from the three-point line. So I like both of those. To your point, Cal, with the under, I haven't gotten there yet, but I like under a lot in this spot as well. These two teams, when they match up, it's typically very slow pace. 7-3 to the under last 10 matchups, including the playoff, including the championship 2 years ago, the finals. And then the last 5 straight have actually gone below the total as well, and it's set at a very similar number. So I like under and I like Heat. Also like Heat first half as well.
And Heat first half. Wow. All right. Cool. So we're a Heat program today. S. Be proud.
Probably taking a screenshot.
Yeah, nah. I don't see him in the chat though. I don't know where he's at. Next up, I think he's in first place in the league right now, so he's probably doing a victory lap. Next up, Blazers plus 12. T-Wolves minus 12. I mean, you guys can take the mic on this one. I'm super good with it. I might not even look at the score throughout this entire game. Might not even glance at what's going on. I have no interest at all.
I hope they don't even put this up at the casino. Like, just don't even waste the slot up there. Go ahead and put one of these other games on. But the Blazers, damn, man, my headphone dies. So, my bad. Bear with me. You guys can still hear me. It's travel fatigue for the Trailblazers. I think this is their 4th straight road game, 2nd of a back-to-back for both teams. I mean, I for as good as Portland was playing defense before that Spurs game, for them to look like that yesterday was just a huge red flag, especially being well rested. For Minnesota, I don't love that it took, a lot of energy for them to come back, but I do think, they'll take that momentum into this next game, and they won't want to get down like that again. So I would look for them out the gate, maybe first half, not first quarter, because I trust that first unit for Portland. But I do think the Timberwolves can run away with this game.
You lean towards Minnesota. I mean, oh, that's right. You can't hear me right now. Something when I was looking at this game, it reminded me of the game last year where, Chris, you might remember it.
I know what you're about to say.
Really? You remember the game? I had
Timberwolves on the second leg of a back-to-back. They won outright.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, no. I remember that game too, though. So I had Portland plus, I think it was 11.5 against Minnesota. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter and didn't cover. And like, I remember it vividly. It stayed with me for a couple weeks, that game. That one, I couldn't get rid of that one. So I can't take Portland. I got literally nothing for this game. Chris?
Yeah, I don't have anything for it either. I know my money can't go on the Blazers though. Like after watching that performance, Skee mentioned like well rested. You had a San Antonio team on the second leg of a back-to-back that really struggles to score the basketball, and you give up 118. I'm watching that game yesterday, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me! Like I might not know how to bet sports anymore. Like this is bad. This is really bad. So yeah, the Blazers could go like on a ATS streak like the Raptors, Cal, like the ATS resort that you like with the Raptors. I still can't bet them. Like they got to like they really got to prove it to me. Like I need a 5-game sample size of consistent data to back the Trailblazers. But last year, second leg of back-to-back, when they were getting a boatload of points, this is when you actually wanted to bet on them, right? They were 11-4 against the number last year.
You should take them then, Chris. You should.
No, absolutely not. 11-4 against the number last season when they were playing unrested, and won eight out of those. It was 16 games because they had a push. They won 8 of them straight up. I'm not touching them, but this is their role right here. We shouldn't have played them last night. I'm not betting them today though.
I'll put the graphic up. Try it on.
Absolutely not. No, it doesn't even look like it fits, so there's no need.
It doesn't even look like it fits. All right, next game. Skee. I think I like fading the Lakers. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I think this is a spot to back your guys here. I think the Lakers are going to blow them out, personally. I know probably a lot of people are taking the sharp angle and taking the Sixers here, but I'm not doing it. I might be down to bet the Lakers here. My position in this game was Lakers or pass. Line's moving the other way, though. It's now down to 7.5. And that was another thing that had me hesitant to bet this one. Total all the way down to 223.5 in a Lakers home game. I get that Philadelphia has been running a slow pace, but this seems like a really low total for the type of basketball we usually see the Lakers playing. So I want Lakers. I want over. As of right now, I have nothing, but I'm open to suggestions.
Oh, all that for nothing, huh?
Oh, I mean, I'll put Lakers up for me. This is one where it's like this one was I'll talk this out on the live show, see if I can find a bet I like. That was my position on this one.
Okay. Well,
Skee, I noticed that Cal always wants the Lakers when nobody else wants them. When everybody,
it's the best time. It's the best time.
Well, it's okay. I'm not betting the Lakers. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You look at that last game for one. I mean, I got to talk about D'Angelo Russell. They need to do something with him. Like they need to.
So wait, hold on, real quick. Is there drama going on with him and JJ Redick? Is that a thing? Did I hear that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes. If you saw the stretch of the game where the Grizzlies were up, I think like 3 points, 5 points, and then it just ballooned to like 12, 15, and it was a lot of D'Angelo Russell just shooting. I ain't gonna say what I call them shots right now, but shooting bad shots and playing absolutely no defense, like not even trying. So you got to deal with that. The Lakers all season long haven't been playing defense. Not just that game. They allowed 131 to Memphis, 115 to Detroit, one of the poor teams, 125 to another of the poor in Toronto, 134 to Cleveland. Kyle, we've done this long enough. We do not lay points with teams who are not playing defense. If you can't expect them to get stops, how are they going to win by margin? I don't really care who's on the court for Philadelphia. I've seen them after watching the Raptor game and the Detroit game. I mean, we still got professionals on the other side. So I'm going to fade that Lakers defense. I'll grab the points with the 76ers.
You putting the belt up?
Put it up.
All right, let's go. I like this one. I'm betting this one. I don't like it as in not one of my favorite bets of the night, but I think there's some value based on what you just said. The Lakers aren't playing defense, right? And I'm looking at the game logs. It's terrible. But they were playing decent defense in that little home stretch to start the season. So back home in LA, where the sun is shining, we're going to see some defense. Look at that. Look at that Sixers rotation tonight, Skee. That's where you want to put the belt on? Did you see the rotation?
I would just ask you to look at those home games again and just look at what they gave up. I mean, they might have won, but I don't think they won because they were playing defense.
Yeah, which is also why I like the over, because they play like the quick-ass lot of possessions. Chris, break the tie.
That's what I hate. Y'all put a lot of pressure on me in the games that I absolutely hate to break the tie. Like I don't want to break the tie. This is a like the line is perfect. the total is perfect. I don't want over. I don't want under. Like Philly has struggled. Now you have no Maxey. PG, is he on a minutes limit? Like, is AD playing? Rui Hachimura?
Wait,
Elnis,
I think AD.
AD's probable.
He's probable. He's probable.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, I think.
He goes, oh
All
boy.
right, this how you settle it right here. You take the Lakers first half, right? Because coming off, like, what is it? They went 1-4 on the road trip, 1-4 against the number as well, or did they even cover? I don't even know if they covered any of the games on the road. But with AD back, the defense gets a lot better in the middle, and I'm not really afraid of like too many people on the 76ers. So I think Lakers first half makes the most sense with them being back home. I think what Skee's not mentioning is that Philly's offense has been terrible. Like, and now no Maxey, so now you're running everything through Paul George in the second game back. Like, I don't like. Well, third game, I guess. I don't like that spot a lot at all. And I think the similar to your Knicks, Kyle. Like, a lot of buzz going around about the Knicks losing, dropping back-to-back games. They're finally home after a long road trip. Probably smoked the Bucks, who don't play a lot of defense in the first half. And then I think the same thing for the Lakers. Like, back home in front of that home crowd. At least they'll be able to score, in my opinion, here. Like, I know Philly plays super slow, but I think the Lakers should be able to score with AD being back. Drummond is a really good rebounder. He's not a really good defender, though. AD should eat against him. You can see Bron putting his head down. Not a lot of, paint protection in Philly. So I think Lakers first half make the most sense because they'll be super motivated. I don't even know what the number is, but just listening to both of y'all, that's how you break the tie. You just take the middle.
bow out of the race. Let's see what the first half line is. 4 or 4.5.
Yeah, they'll be winning by 6.
I prefer 8. All right, let's move on to the last NBA game. Clippers Kings. I think we're finally going to see this Clippers team get humbled. I mean, I shouldn't say finally. They've gotten humbled a couple times. I don't like the consensus that people are liking this Clippers team now, and I don't know. It's Kings for me or pass, but I didn't bet this one because I don't fully trust the Kings. I don't know how I feel about the Kings right now either with DeRozan. I feel like I can't. That's another team where I really don't have a feel for, and that's a team I made a lot of money with last year. The Kings, fading them and betting them. Where I want to be in this one is the Kings, but I don't really have any solid logic for it. You guys have anything for this one?
Nah, I'm not into laying points with the Kings. I'm just not. I'm not high on this team. The Clippers, though, yeah, I'm sorry. I just got to pass this game. I have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similar. I'm with you on that. Chris?
Yeah, I can't lay with the Kings here, but and I don't want the Clippers either. But I will say this: in the 2 road games so far, when maybe the Intuit Dome is what makes the Clippers actually stink. Because they haven't played that great there, even though they are coming off a win against Philly. On the road though, their first road game was against Denver. That's when we realized, like, oh yeah, this Denver team might not be it because they stormed back, but the Clippers won that game outright. The Clippers' other road game was actually Golden State's only loss. So they for whatever reason they play better on the road than into a dome. Maybe they should sell it, knock it down or something. They can come back in the basement with the Lakers, and we can let them use our court. But again, with no banners, but. I think it's an under game. I think Clippers play. Their defense seems to be a little bit better at home. I think the Clippers pace. I think the Kings pace is a little bit slower with DeRozan as well. I think it's 223 and a half, 224. Clippers 2-0 to the under on the road. Those games have like flew under the total as well against Denver and Golden State. Staying under by about 5 points per game. And the Kings also been playing under basketball at home as well. Those games are averaging right about this line. And their defense, I think, is a little bit better improved. The Clippers' offense doesn't really scare me as much either. So I didn't play it, but if I am playing to stay away from the side, because I'm with you guys, I don't want to lay or take the points here, it would be under 223. And I guess it would be a slight lean to the Clippers, thinking that the Kings could win this game by 1 possession or maybe even 2 possessions, because 6.5 is a lot.
I considered the under also. What ended up keeping me off it was the game logs from the Kings. Last 2 games, super slow pace. 2 games before that, insanely fast pace. So I just feel like it's tough to try to predict what kind of basketball game the Kings are going to come out
and
play.
Who are they playing against, though? Who are they playing against?
Well, that's where it gets weird. Okay, so the fast-paced games, Atlanta and Toronto, makes sense. The slow-paced games, Miami, and then Toronto again. So, yeah, makes sense of that. Yeah, I Kings are pass for me. I don't have a lot to say. All right, that's the last NBA game. Make sure you give these guys a follow. They both have their own YouTube daily shows. Chris is in the morning, I think around 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's the name of his Twitter handle and channel right there beneath them. And Skee's is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 2.5 hours before mine starts. So appreciate you guys taking the time to come on. Make sure you guys go support the channel. Yeah, talk to you guys. Have a good weekend, man. I'm on everyone hates it. I'm on UCLA tonight against Iowa. Everyone hates it. But that's the college.
I'm with
football.
you.
Yeah.
Let's cash it.
Let's go. All right. You've been
Appreciate
hitting
you.
UCLA, huh? Okay, me too then. Yeah, make it all three.
UCLA plus 6.5. UCLA tonight.
Plus 6, and I'm see if I can find a 7. Okay. Like
no, you won't find
later,
a 7.
guys.
Later.
All right, fellas.
All right. Let's talk some college football. I have no prop either, so I just got to set the screen up myself. Shouldn't take. So what do we got? Andy and Scoop. R-Truth. That's what happens when prop Beaver sets the names. Oh, I got to send him there. I didn't even send it to him. I can't believe Skee was on the Sixers like that. He must. I think what's going on is he's upset about his team and he's looking at it emotionally. I can't. Skee's a Lakers fan for those that don't know him. So I thought, I mean, that Sixers lineup looks ugly. I mean, they do have some players off the bench that I suppose could come in and have nice games. I mean, Reggie Jackson's a veteran. He could come in and hit some shots. Eric Gordon. But as a whole, if you look at who's getting minutes for the Sixers, it just seems like a perfect spot for the Lakers. All right, we got Andy here. People are in the comments saying they're betting. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to turn the volume down on your thing. People are in the comments saying they're betting Big Game Hank. That name's sticking.
It is sticking. It's just such a lie, too. He's just not.
He's not at all a big
Not
game
at all.
player. So we got the poll up. Cal at Wake. Did Scoop say he was coming on?
Yeah, he's in here.
Oh, he is? Oh, there he is. Scoop with no glasses. Looking like a straight predator. Scoop looking like a straight predator without glasses on today. I can't hear you, Scoop.
Wow.
A silent predator.
Silent but deadly. There we go.
All right, so first game up. Cal, Wake Forest. I did bet this one. It's my smaller bet, though. I like my other bet better. But I laid... Oh, it's at 7.5 now? Is it all 7.5s? Can you still get a 7?
Let's see.
Yes, I can hear you now, Scoop. 1 second. Oh, no. Oh, man. Is it mostly 7.5s now?
Yeah, it's mostly 7.5. Looks like DraftKings has a minus 112 7. So
I'm not trying to lay 7.5. I mean, I'm in at 7. So if you could still find a 7, that's what.
Predator Scoop here. Do you want some candy?
Scoop, are you on Big Game Hank?
I am not on Big Game Hank. Yeah, so I was all in on Cal until last week when I went with Oregon State. That was a solid pick. Really hung in there. They really played tough for
Didn't
me.
they get their ass beat?
I think like 45 they lost. Yeah, Cal's a good team. Like I said last time, their 4 losses were combined 9 points. Really, it's unlucky for them. They should have won at least 3 of those. I know Wake played a bunch of close games too, which is why 7.5 is a little worrisome. I'd prefer 6.5, but there's no way I'm taking Wake because of that defense. Bottom 10 in EPA per play. Both starting corners didn't play last week. I think they'll both be back here, but still, Mendoza has thrown for at least 270 yards in 5 straight games. That's against better teams than Wake secondary, regardless of who's playing in that secondary. They're 133rd in passing success rate, second worst in the country, 127th in EPA per pass. I know Cal's offensive line is pretty garbage, but Wake has no pass rush anyway. I think they only have 10 sacks on the entire season, so Mendoza's going to have time to throw the ball. And Jaden Ott's back. He came back as their leading running back last game. He had a bad game, but at his first game back, he only had 10 carries, but he's a huge piece out of the backfield for Mendoza. He had 4 catches for 58 yards. Not only is Wake a terrible pass defense, Ott should be able to get going. Wake allows 4.5 yards per carry. And I know Wake has a decent offense, big game Hank after all, but Cal's defense is far better than Wake's. This should be a win for Cal. I would like them to win by about 10 or so.
Golden Bears. R-Truth?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Honestly, I think they can win this by 10 to 14. Like you said, Wake played a couple of close games, but I think Cal's probably the better of those teams, comparative to the close games that they played. He did mention the Mendoza having a clean pocket, which obviously, like most quarterbacks, he's much better with a clean pocket. That's obvious. That's basic. But also, like, Hank Bachmeier's a little bit worse when he's pressured. I think he's going to be under pressure. This O-line for Wake Forest has been allowing a little bit more pressure lately. The big one, and I think we mentioned it in the video, the splits in coverage, they're significant in this game, and that those are things that I think I noticed it with SMU and Pitt last week, and I kind of went against it. Those have been making, I think, a bigger impact lately, especially when now these stats matter now. Like, it's late in the season, this is just who these teams are. It's quite significant, the difference him passing, Hank Bachmeier, him passing against man. He's 122nd in passing grade versus man coverage. That's all Cal runs, and that's terrible. That's a horrible split for him. So I think, and that's all they do because Wake doesn't really have a running game. So I just don't think that Wake's going to be able to do anything offensively in this one to keep up. And I think Ott's probably not going to get going at this point, right? I think you're beating a dead horse if you keep saying he's going to get going. But I mean, they will have a better running game, and I just think a better overall game. So, yeah, I think Cal wins this one pretty comfortably.
I'll tell you this. If Ott gets going and is able to average 4.5 yards per carry and Cal has a run game, they might win by 3 touchdowns. Because I think they could cover this number even if they can't run the ball, personally. The run game would just be a nice bonus. Next up, Rice, Memphis. And the question we need to answer here, guys, is Memphis back? 3 games in a row, we're seeing the offense put up big numbers. This Memphis offense has been disappointing so far this year. But if Memphis offensively is back, now that it's down to 7, last night I uploaded a video on these games, and I said I'd like the under at 51.5. It's at 51. It's at 50.5 now, and I still think that would be my pick for the game, is the under. But I'll tell you, if a 6.5 pops, I'm in on Memphis. This is getting a little crazy here. Was Memphis, Andy? Hasn't Memphis scored like 40 plus points in 3 straight games?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing bad teams, but yes, they are scoring a lot.
What do you consider Rice? I mean, I know the defense for Rice is pretty good.
I will say, if there was one aspect of Rice that's good, it's their pass defense, and that's obviously the one thing Memphis wants to do. I agree with you. I think Memphis is going to win the game and cover, but I will say, if there was an aspect and there was a team built to compete defensively against Memphis, it's probably Rice.
So at 7, is Memphis your pick?
Yeah, I'd still take Memphis. I think this team's had a couple disappointing games throughout the year, but they've been a solid team, and like you said, the confidence and the momentum that they're playing with now, I think, just kind of runs it up. I think Rice has had a difficult season. They were expected to be a lot better than they actually are. So yeah, I just think Memphis can win this one and cover this number. Although, what was it, 8 earlier in the day? So like, it keeps going down. So a lot of people are on Rice, but no, I would leave Memphis.
Yeah, the reason I like the under, in case you didn't watch the video I posted last night. So Rice defensively has been excellent and deserve a ton of credit. The offense for Rice has been, I mean, maybe the second biggest disappointment in college football after Florida State this season. I mean, they brought in E.J. Warner, who was being talked about before the season as a borderline NFL talent. They brought in from Temple to play quarterback. They brought back a ton of production on the offensive side. They felt, going into the season, we were expecting Rice to have this high-powered passing attack. The offense has been terrible. It's been awful. The defense is the exact opposite. The defense looks great for Rice. So I like that for an under. And then you could kind of say the same thing about how this Memphis season has gone a bit. Seth Hennigan at quarterback, we are all expecting Memphis to have this explosive offense because they always do. But it really hasn't been for most of the season. That's why the first thing I said when we pulled this game up was, is Memphis back? Because they lit the scoreboard up 3 consecutive games. If Memphis offensively is back, if we get the Memphis offense from last year here, they'll win this game by double digits. But that's a big if because the offense looked broken for a lot of the season. We saw Middle Tennessee go on the road into Memphis and give this offense problems. And if you watch Conference USA football this year, you know that's laugh out loud funny because Middle Tennessee defensively, I think Middle Tennessee is a worse defense than Kennesaw State is. That's a terrible defense. So Memphis, beginning of the season, their offense looked like absolute shit, just an utter disappointment. Last 3 games, they seem to be waking up. So where does that leave us? I mean, I personally think now that it's down to 7, it might be time to start looking at Memphis, but I'll just stick with my under here.
Yeah, good old Rice. One thing I will give Rice is the last time we talked about this team, I think they won a few games, so including that big win against Navy last week. And really, as much as I think UConn's a bit overrated with that schedule, they did hold UConn to 17 points, which is good for this team. It's the offense for Rice that gives me concern here. Rice did fire their head coach, probably was needed. I just don't think they're going to hold down Memphis's offense right now. Rice is coming off a big win. Memphis coming off a terrible loss at home. I could see both a letdown spot for Rice, if you can call it that, against Memphis. And a Memphis bounce back spot here. EJ Warner is bad. Kurt is disappointed in his son. He told me 5.2 yards per attempt. He has no mobility back there, and he's throwing a lot of picks. I think he's 11 touchdowns, 10 picks. Rice is good against the run, but Mario Anderson is playing ridiculous for Memphis right now. He has 16 touchdowns. He has over 1,000 scrimmage yards. Maybe the best running back in the AAC. Memphis defense isn't great, but there's no way they're giving up 44 points to a team like Rice, like last game. Seth Hennigan's a way better quarterback than Warner. I think this is probably. I do agree with Kyle. I think this is going to be like a 27-6 type of game personally. But I would take Memphis here. There's no way I'm backing Rice.
All right. Both of you guys lean towards Memphis. I lean towards the under. This is not one of the games I bet, by the way. Next up. Now we get to my favorite bet of the night. And please don't take what I just said and go all in on it. I got crushed last college football week. So please be responsible. But I think UCLA at 6.5 is a good bet. First of all, this Iowa defense is not the same as the Iowa defenses we've seen in years past. Usually we can bank on Iowa having a top 10 defense every single year. And coming into this season, we thought it was going to be every bit as we thought it was going to be the same. I mean, they brought back like 8 starters. There was no reason to doubt the Iowa defense this year. But we are seeing teams score points on Iowa, specifically in their road games. In Iowa's 3 road games, they're allowing 27 points per game. Teams are able to throw the ball a little bit on Iowa. I mean, this is still a great defense, Iowa. It's just not quite as elite as in years past. And Ethan Garbers is piecing defenses up. In the last 3 games, I mean, he's got 3 consecutive great games throwing the ball in a row. Not only that, we got Iowa in that weird Big Ten spot we've been talking about, the cross-country Big Ten trip. This is a first for all these teams. They usually don't have to fly to Los Angeles for a conference game. I mean, Ohio State went out there and lost. Penn State went out to USC, almost lost, didn't cover. We've seen a lot of teams. USC flew into Minnesota, lost. USC flew into Michigan, lost. These cross-country trips haven't been successful for these teams for the most part. So Iowa flying out to the West Coast. This is their first time. Their road games so far, I think, are Columbus, Ohio State, and Minnesota. I think it was 2 Big Ten, regular Big Ten teams. This is their first cross-country Big Ten game. I think Ethan Garbers is going to be able to throw the ball on this Iowa defense. Now, as far as Caleb Johnson and the Iowa rushing attack, they're going to run the ball. That rushing attack is probably a top 10, top 15 rushing attack in the entire country. But they shouldn't be laying 6.5, in my opinion. This should be 3.5. So I like the value at UCLA plus 6.5. I'm on this one. Like I said, my favorite bet of the night. Hold on. This is my favorite bet of the night. You make your own decisions. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. Scoop.
This is my favorite bet of the night as well. I really do love UCLA here.
Oh, shit. Nice. We're both
Yeah, like I said last week when I picked UCLA, this team really isn't that bad. Ethan Garbers has been great lately. Almost 900 yards in the last 3 games, 100 on the ground. And their offensive line, since changing it up around that Penn State game, they've really protected him well. And their defense has really held up too. 20 in Nebraska, 21 in Minnesota, and Penn State. They only got 27, but they were in that whole game. And really, since that Penn State game, they played a lot better. Their last 4, they definitely could have won. Big Ten teams, like Kyle says, are 7-14, traveling multiple time zones this year.
Wait, say that stat again, Scoop.
7-14, traveling multiple time zones. Big Ten teams.
That's Big Ten teams. Okay.
UCLA is built to stop the run, which is what Iowa wants to do with Caleb Johnson. Let's not forget Caleb Johnson is this whole Iowa offense. But UCLA, listen, they're 11th stopping the run. And Iowa's really started off slow this whole season in the first quarter. They're one of the lowest teams scoring the ball in the first half in general. Eric Bieniemy, though, he's done something with his offense. You know him from the Chiefs, obviously. He knows what he's doing. Since taking over UCLA, every game he's gotten better. The key really is, though, that UCLA run defense stop Caleb Johnson, and this should be an UCLA outright win. Iowa throwing the ball is not going to work. First of all, they're 124th in pass rate, and when they do pass the ball, they're 99th in success rate. So Iowa has been bad on the road. They've lost 2 games by an average of 20 points. This should be a slow-paced game that favors UCLA and the points. So I'm going to take UCLA at home.
Andy, are we sweeping?
No, I'm on the under. So I know it seems to be the opposite this year, obviously, because normally the over-unders for these games are like 35, 36 for Iowa. So this year they're 6 of 7 to the, or 7 of 8 to the over. But I know that seems like, whoa, why would you take an under then? Well, because the only other time that the number crossed 42 was Ohio State, and the under hit. Now the number's 44.5. It was 45 when it opened. It's a couple points higher than it's been, and it's been pretty close in some of these games. I think the under hits in this game because, I don't necessarily think UCLA is going to have a lot of success on offense. They want to throw the ball.
You just don't know Ethan Garbers, bro.
I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Like, their O-line's not just bad, it's historically terrible.
It's been better the last 3 games.
It's been better.
They're going to be under pressure from the Iowa defense, obviously. He's a little bit worse when under pressure. He doesn't really handle it well, but a lot of quarterbacks don't. And then on the other side, Iowa's offense is all of a sudden scoring all of these points with this backup quarterback, like me and Kyle talked about. I think we talked about it the other day. It's not because of the quarterback, it's because of the running back. Well, they're going to be running the ball the whole game, then I think the clock's going to be moving. So, yeah, I like the under because I don't think the clock's really going to stop very often when Iowa has the ball, at least. I think they're going to have the ball a lot, too. I think it's going to be some punts from UCLA. Garbers is going to be under pressure. It's going to be tough for them to get down the field. So I like the under. I don't really have a side. I think that this became a pretty good game. I think it's going to be a good game, but yeah, I don't really trust either team. I don't trust Iowa laying almost a touchdown, and I don't trust UCLA at all. So I just trust that both of them aren't going to score. So give me the under.
Under's cool as long as it's within 6.5 points. Next up, I actually think I'm taking UCLA money line in the league tonight because I'm down. All right, so last college football game, New Mexico, San Diego State. So, Andy, are you a believer in what Sean Lewis is doing? Because now we're in a different realm now. Now he's laying points.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favorite bet because there's some college basketball ones I like tonight. But in terms of like actual teams I think are going to win their game outright, I think New Mexico is going to win the game. I think it could be comfortable. So
really,
it's interesting. San Diego State's not scoring, but they're now laying points.
Hold on, they've been throwing the ball a little bit recently, like a little bit.
They're not putting up points, and now they're playing a team that's putting up points on everybody. Doesn't matter who's played New Mexico this year; they've pretty much scored on everybody. Granted, they're giving up a lot of points, but you have to outscore New Mexico. San Diego State hasn't proven that they can outscore anyone. They can't put up a lot of points in these games. Doesn't matter who they play. So, I think it's if you're gonna tell me New Mexico's or San Diego State has to outscore New Mexico, who has I believe scored 30 in every game or so, something of that nature. I have a hard time believing a team that wants to run the ball like this, a team that needs to do those things. I really don't think that this offense is strong enough to outscore New Mexico. So I think New Mexico wins the game outright. I would take New Mexico, but I think it's come down to, I think it was 3.5 earlier in the week. So I think a lot of people are probably betting it, but yeah, I like Sean Lewis and I like the way he runs his teams. I think this is a very hard proposition for a bad football team to be laying 2.5 on a team that scores a lot of points. So give me New Mexico.
I don't know. I feel like San Diego State's offense is improving recently. I feel like they're starting to take to what Sean Lewis is doing there. I remember looking at the numbers for this one when we did the San Diego State Boise game, and I remember thinking like, all right, this San Diego State offense is better. So I don't know. I mean, I think I would lean towards the same way, but Scoop.
Yeah, there's no way I'm taking New Mexico in the points. New Mexico had a weird last 5. 152 points against New Mexico State, Air Force, Utah State, then 6 against Colorado State, and then back to 45 against Wyoming. There's a weird defensive game sandwich in the middle there. Dampier threw some picks there, but I mean, he is one of the best running quarterbacks in the nation. Throwing the ball for New Mexico is a liability for him. He has 12 picks, 58% completion percentage, but running the ball is what he does. He has 13 touchdowns, but yeah, this team's capable of putting up massive numbers, but their defense is so god-awful. They're giving up 40 points a game, around 500 yards a game. San Diego State has an okay offense, but really that's going to tenfold playing New Mexico. This total 66 or something for a reason. San Diego State has lost some close games all season. As Kyle calls him, Ed O'Neill, he's okay. But really, they haven't played a team that has a defense as bad as New Mexico. Boise State, Washington State, the last two are a tough go for any team. Wyoming has no offense, but they have an average defense. Hawaii has a solid defense. This is going to be the weakest defense San Diego State has played since their opening game against East Texas A&M. And really, if you compare those two, they are comparable in defenses. So they haven't played Utah State or Air Force yet. That rounds out their season. So I'm taking San Diego State here. As good as New Mexico's offense has been, this should be a back and forth game. I think the offense should click here for San Diego State.
Taking the Aztecs, taking Ed O'Neill. All right, college basketball up next. We're only doing one game. I don't have prop either today. So, whoops. So I'll bring in Toast on now. Is Toast in the background, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so 1 second. Let me find.
I know, man. It's rough.
I don't know what I did. I'm 1-0 so far today, guys.
All right, you know what?
My bad. I didn't mean to be like Scoop there again. Everybody, my record.
I mean, I can back up my record. What are you guys' record on the season? All right, thanks. Appreciate
Shout out to
that.
Gardner Webb, though, really. That was actually – I couldn't even watch it because for some reason it wasn't streamed. That had to be an awful basketball game to watch.
I am 0-0 on the day. So
There's Toast. All right. So, yeah, you guys, I'll put the poll up and shit. You guys go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Obviously, you don't need an introduction to these two losers. So let's just keep it moving. Obviously, there's a few big games on today. Decent games on today, but this is like the only one really worth talking about, especially with no prop beaver. Two teams that are probably going to make the tournament. Well, probably they will make the tournament. So, which one of you either? I mean, I know you guys know what I'm on. Do you guys either one of you guys have a player? Or do you want me to go first?
No, I have a play.
Okay, let's hear it, Scoop. Would love to hear it.
So don't be condescending.
I'm trying to be a good host here. Okay, I'm warning you. It's only game 3. I'm trying to get the transitions. It's not easy. Okay.
I get it, man. 7.5 to North Carolina already makes you think it's too much, and I know Kansas is supposed to be one of the best teams this year. That is until they choke in the tournament, but that's neither here nor there. Last time these two met in the championship game 2 years ago, obviously a ton of changes for both sides. North Carolina is a bit smaller this year in terms of size, actually a lot smaller, but they're definitely faster. They will play at a faster pace all season. But listen, they did lose Harrison Ingram, Armando Bacot, and against Elon, North Carolina had trouble on the glass. They out-rebounded Elon by 3. So that's going to be an issue with their size all season, and definitely here in Kansas against Hunter Dickinson. And you'll obviously want to play Hunter Dickinson now. You want to play him later in the season when he's hurt than a well-rested helmet Hunter. I think Withers is going to get dominated down low for North Carolina. RJ Davis, obviously one of the better players in the nation. Him coupled with Trimble and Cadeau, it'll be hard for Kansas to stay in front of them. They have a really talented backcourt, but it's Kansas's front court that should dominate this game. I wasn't a fan of AJ Story at Wisconsin in the first place, and he looked bad against Elon. He's in foul trouble like usual. Let's be real. Wisconsin's a garbage basketball team, a garbage program. This Kansas team is 91-5 at home the last 6 seasons. I just see Griffin and Dickinson doing a huge bulk of the work down low offensively and defensively, especially on the board. So I think Kansas wins this one by double digits and hands North Carolina a loss, which really, I see a bunch of North Carolina losses this season. I don't think they're going to be as good as last season. I think they are going to be overrated all season, and I think North Carolina is a garbage basketball team.
Wow.
Lot to unpack. Lot to unpack there. I will say I agree with you as far as later on in the season with Hunter Dickinson. I mean, obviously after their first game, it looked like he had maybe a little bit of a minutes issue or a minutes cap, if you want to call it. Obviously, he didn't look like himself. I think that ankle or foot injury, whatever he was dealing with in the summer, didn't really do well for him in that first one. But again, I don't know how much it meant. And as far as North Carolina versus Elon, I mean, I don't know how bad that you can be. I mean, obviously losing Baycott is bad, but keep in mind, North Carolina was losing at the under 7 timeout or down by 1 or whatever. And they ended up winning by like 14 or whatever. But it's just really hard for me to believe that North Carolina is going to be some dominant program again here this year like they have been in the past. Andy, do you have anything on this game?
Yeah, I have the over. These two teams, Kansas scored 87 in their game. Obviously, they played Howard, so not much to take from that. And like you guys have been saying, Elon kept it close, but Elon shot 44% from 3. That's a disaster if UNC is going to allow a team to shoot that well from 3 this year. Kansas just shot 50% from 3. So if the 3-point shooting is going to be there, that's a lot of points on that side. But at the same time, North Carolina scored 90. They put up 90 points. They had 51 at halftime. So their offense was there. The offense was not the issue for them. They shot 40% from the field, so it waned in the second half. But I can only expect them to shoot better than that. And Kansas will come down. Kansas shot 60% from the field overall. That's not going to happen. But if they both shoot like nice, solid 45s to 50s, like I think we can get this number. Both very fast paced, both top 25 in pace last year, or top 50 maybe it was. And I only expect that to include to continue when they both have more talent on their roster. So I know a lot of people think it's going to be a blowout for Kansas. A lot of people have been betting Kansas. It's obviously up to, I think, to 8 now. It keeps going up.
8.5 in some spots.
Yeah, I would probably lean that way as well, but I would stick to just the over for right now. This is my favorite in terms of college basketball. It's my second favorite because I have Pitt tonight, but I really do like this bet. So.
Yeah, I'm on Kansas as well. I don't mind the over. I was kind of debating either way, but what kept me away from the over was I don't worry about RJ Davis and the backcourt of North Carolina. I don't think anybody has to worry about that. They're speedy. They can shoot. They can do all that. What I worry about is that North Carolina defense. Obviously, that's going to help your over. But when you take Baycott out of the middle of that defense, it's going to be really, really hard for North Carolina to show what they've seen the last couple of years. I mean, our guys over at CBB Analytics have like on and off shot charts and hot and cold shot charts. And if you take a look at how dominant North Carolina was last year, it's because they dominated inside the paint. Barely any red inside the paint with them. All the red comes out outside in these mid-range jumpers, which I don't think they're going to be able to force Kansas to do. Kansas is first of all, it's not Kansas. It's Bill Self, who's absolutely fantastic. One of the best coaches, top 5 coach in the country, maybe even a top 3 coach in the country, depending on what you like. But this team is so good. I mean, defensively, this Kansas team has been just an absolute juggernaut. Going back a few years, 20th, 11th, 17th, 12th, 2nd, 17th, going back to 2019 as far as adjusted efficiency on defense. So I don't even really worry about the Kansas defense. I just think that it's going to be too late. When you have guys on the bench for Kansas, like a guy like Mayo, who was the reigning the Summit League Player of the Year. Not to mention the fact guys like Rylan Griffin coming over from Alabama that's shooting almost 20 or 40% from deep. I know that AJ Storr didn't look great his first game, but he's another sharpshooter. I just feel like this early in the season, I feel like Kansas has a coaching advantage. I feel they have the front court advantage. I will give you that Tar Heels probably have a backcourt advantage. I'll give you that, but I'll take 2 out of the 3. I also think that this number was very telling. Obviously I've been dog shit in college basketball for a year and a half, so my opinion doesn't really mean much, but I do think that this number at 7.5, and then staying there all day and now going up to 8.5 is a pretty good indication of how the books feel this game is going to go. They're really not worried about people taking North Carolina +7 or +6 or whatever it is. They're more than comfortable with that. So I think KU rolls here. I don't mind the over either. But yeah, that's all we got for this one.
I'm going to do the community parlay in the background. While I'm doing that, you guys want to shout out some other I don't have graphics for it, but if you want to chat.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Do you guys want to give out a couple plays that you're on? I can go really fast if you guys are ready. I played the over 158.5 in the Belmont game. I played Santa Clara -4.5. I also did, if you don't want to lay the points with those teams, Santa Clara, Kansas moneyline parlay. I did that. It's actually one of my bigger bets of the day. And Navy -1.5 is the only play I have. I have a couple other totals and stuff like that I don't love. I'm not going to really worry about that. But Navy, Santa Clara, and Belmont first half for me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want all our picks, just go on KyleKirms.com. But I actually really like the Santa Clara bet just because Arizona State, while I do have one of the top 10 recruiting classes in the nation, they're just really, really young. Especially Jaden Quaintons. He's going to be a solid center, but he's literally 17 years old and 6 months younger than any other player in the league. So they're just going to have time to develop. So I like Santa Clara. If I was leaning aside, I would go Charleston. I do like UMass over West Virginia. I know we were going to talk about them because I just hate West Virginia, but I like UMass. But yeah, I have some on the website though. Andy?
Yeah, I'm on my favorite bet outside of the over tonight is Pitt -13 against Murray State, and then I also have Penn State. Sorry, I also Penn State -23 against UMBC. UMBC.
I have UNBC money line in that game.
Same here, Sauce.
You guys.
You
I haven't posted it yet, but I like Mississippi State tonight. But I might wait until that game starts and maybe live bet that because they got off to a little bit of a slow start at like the first couple minutes of the game the other day, and then they just beat the crap out of their opponent, and they're going to be really good. They can shoot threes like crazy now. So they were the team last year. I think Toast can back me up. I think the last 2 years they will shoot threes. I think they were like one of the top in terms of attempting threes, but they just don't make them. They would never make them. Now they have guys that can actually make threes. So they're just going to keep chucking them up, and they're actually going to hit them out. So they could actually be a competitor in the SEC now. So,
yeah, Robert Thomas shot. Actually, that's one of my bets too. Central Connecticut, I like. So.
Oh, you have Army too. I was going to say that.
I do have Army.
Good cover.
I have Army too.
Afraid of the fact that like.
No, I have Navy.
Wants to beat the crap out of you. They're going to, but I think they're usually They play Army every year. This is a game they play every year. So.
And just really quickly, obviously I've been terrible, but I do have a full unit on Louisville +2.5 for tomorrow, just for everybody. So everybody wants to know. I don't know what our schedule is with college football tomorrow. What are you smiling for, Andy? Go ahead and speak your mind.
I love Coach Kelsey. I just thought it was pretty funny what I saw today. The video.
Oh.
All right. It was still not the worst thing to happen to a head coach.
No, that's true. Florida's head coach.
He could be Todd Golden and be sending, you know what, to students. That's always cool.
Yeah, Todd Golden might not be here anymore for Florida.
Yeah, hey, just another added on Florida Final Four pick for me. No big deal. That's just how my life works in this fucking sport.
Who would have thought in September that Billy Napier was going to last longer than the basketball coach?
That's crazy.
Well, and Andy has a little bit of concern now because Florida might be trying to get poached Mike White back. You know, so
do you think that
I heard
Georgia's in disarray? I don't know.
I heard he's really interested too.
That's what I heard. I heard they're going to offer him like $100 million.
Who would have thought Georgia would be more comfortable with their basketball program than Florida?
They're not.
I wouldn't go that far right now.
Yeah, I would. Let's be real. I mean,
here's the thing though, they're not.
I'm pretty sure you could go coach Florida and they'd still make the tournament, Andy.
Georgia almost lost Andy the first game.
He doesn't talk about that.
All right.
He wanted to talk about Gonzaga's exhibition. He didn't say anything about Gonzaga versus Baylor. Not one word.
Dude, they beat. I mean, I watched the first half and went to sleep. It was over.
Is anyone else on tomorrow except you and Sauce?
Yeah, Lord BLT.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll be at Rutgers watching them get demolished by Minnesota.
I actually, in the video I'm uploading in about 2 hours, I said Rutgers are passing that game. 6.5.
Surprised.
17-point win.
Brosmer's about to throw a couple picks.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wow, like is the community voting for Cal that heavy? So the community.
Surprising to me.
Oh no, it looks like it's evening out now. So the community parlay is gonna be, it's Cal. Wow, community likes Cal.
Auburn too, right?
What's up?
Talking to Toast. Tomorrow's Auburn.
Auburn versus Houston -2.5 for Houston.
For community parlay, Pacers money line, Warriors money line, Thunder money line, Cal money line. Warriors are underdogs in there, so that actually might be a decent payout.
I literally, because I was watching the show, I played more Warriors in the NBA and UCLA money line together.
Yeah, I like UCLA. I think it might be.
Looks like 496.
496.
Well, Cal's 7-point favorite.
All right, plus 496. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all 10 a.m. See you all in about 16 and a half hours to go through the college football slate. Everyone, please bet responsibly tonight. Hit me up if you did in the Discord if you need me. If you're submitting a pick for the league tonight, you have 90 minutes. So go and submit it if you want to get in. Everyone, have a good night. Bet responsibly.
See ya.